Podtacular, the unofficial Halo Universe podcast, presents episode 860, Beginnings with Chief, recorded live on May 5th, 2023. Hello everyone, welcome to Podtacular, the unofficial Halo Universe podcast. I am one of your co-hosts, Duststorm.
I'm your other co-host, Godzilla T.
And we have the wonderful pleasure and honor of having the one and only Brad from Impact Props on the podcast. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. This is fun.
I feel like this is long overdue. Like, we've known each other for over 10 years at this point, and we still haven't gotten you on the podcast.
It's crazy. 10 years.
Right?
You just made me feel super old. Like, super old. Oh my god.
I mean, I want to say
you have
RTX...
no idea.
I want to say RTX 2013 was the first time we met.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that was our, I think it was one of our first conventions. I think probably was our actual first convention that we ever really went to. And it was me and my brother, Matt. You remember Matt?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. It was either 2012 or 2013 was the first one. But
it was incredible. It was our first experience, and you know, made a lot of friends there. It was a
RTX
really
used to be.
It was a perfect way to get into like the whole 405th community.
It was big, especially like in the Texas area and the Midwest area. It's huge. Well, I mean, really the 405th is huge kind of everywhere now, but back then that was one of the big contingents of the 405th was Midwest.
Right.
I think the other one probably being the West Coast was probably the other big one at the time, and then Colonial probably right behind it. But yeah, everything was pretty much great during that golden era of RTX, and of course things have changed since then with COVID and
right.
Yeah,
I liked it because it was the one that I could actually travel to.
So
true.
We've never met in person, GT. Were you at
Nope.
you were at the conventions too? Did we just like miss each other?
No, the only one I went to is when we had our 10th anniversary.
Oh
which
yeah.
would have been 20,
That actually was
2015.
that was actually my first convention for any type of video game.
Okay. Yeah, so then we did miss each other, didn't you? I think that's when I stopped. Yeah.
Yeah, no, we haven't actually met in person, although I feel like I know you after watching videos. I'm sure you're just like that in real life.
I mean,
after the than most people think.
is the most notable video still the Take on Me from RTX?
Yeah.
Is that still kind of like the most popular one that you all get?
Yeah. Yeah. That definitely is what like launched our whole YouTube channel. The Take on Me. What's it? It's Band of the Spartans, basically, for those of you that don't know it. You know, this dance going through a convention, Master Chief doing and meeting all of his friends. Yeah, that's really what launched everything for us. Well, not everything, but really launched everything for us. Yeah.
Well, yeah, we'll get to a lot more of that in a little bit, but we got a couple of things to take care of first before we get to interviewing you and talking about everything Impact Props, which is long overdue, I think, at this point.
That is a long list.
Yeah, you got a list for me. Good. Well, let's get right into the news.
Let's do it. Let's knock this out of the park. Podtacular update. GT, how was Fragging Friday last week?
It was excellent. We had a lot of fun. Started out, we got a couple of the community playlist or the community maps in, which I tell you what, man, the Forge community is just rocking Infinite. They are making some awesome maps. Then we shortly jumped into Big Team, and we pretty much hung out in Big Team all night. Somebody jinxed us, and we got Stockpile for the first game.
Not me.
He
I don't know who it was.
Nameless Confoul.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
But no, all in all, we had a lot of fun. We had a pretty fair night. It wasn't too bad at all. Pretty balanced between wins and losses. Nobody seemed to get really frustrated. My KD dropped dramatically from the first game to the last game. So I was right on par with my typical night. So, if you ever want to see how not to play Halo, feel free to tune in.
I feel like I'm right there with you.
I mean, I'm not the greatest, and that's definitely evident by the tournament that I participated in last week, and I was the worst player on the team.
Dude, a tournament. That's awesome.
I would settle for consistent.
I mean, I guess in that case, I was consistent, but not in a good way.
What kind of tournament was it?
I started kind of up here, and then it just kind of went to the basement. Actually, sub-basement. Anyway.
Yeah. So I got invited to an invitational that was hosted by the Halo Hub and LVT Halo. We had a guest on the show 2 weeks ago, Magic Moonshot, who's kind of an upcoming caster and has been digging into the live streaming on Twitch for Halo Infinite recently. So after we had her on the show, I joined one of her stream play with viewer type things, and she invited me on the invitational, and needless to say, we got wiped and we were the first team out of the tournament.
But it was a good experience.
It was fun. It was a lot of fun. Yeah. Was definitely honored to be invited. Would be happy to do it again. Just people need to realize that I'm not the best Halo player, but I'll try my best.
Yeah.
So maybe a pro out there can maybe teach me a thing or two of what I'm not doing right. Maybe a couple of things that can help.
Yeah, I'm beyond help.
I still have the video confound that you linked in the Discord earlier about Lucid posted a video about some settings that helped with his aim. So maybe I'll go and check that out and see if that helps. Because I feel like my strategy in Halo is pretty decent as far as like trying to execute gameplay. It's just executing the battle strategy, like in the firefight stuff, I'm not good at. So my strategy ends up kind of backfiring because I can't aim. So, yeah. Anyways,
kind of makes sense. If you can't aim,
right?
Yeah,
it's hard to get kills.
And surprise, surprise, Accelerate Team 1 on.
Really? No, it's not like we've ever gone up against Accelerate.
The funny thing was we actually scrimmed against him on Friday night. So I dropped early from Dragon Friday to scrim against his team. And apparently he started off playing with controller instead of keyboard and mouse. So when he got closer to the end of the tournament, he switched over to keyboard and mouse and started ripping heads off.
Yeah, that's usually what happens.
So, yeah. I don't know if you know that Halo Infinite supports mouse and keyboard.
Yeah.
Okay. So the other news stuff that we have to talk about is we have a new event for Season 3. We have Sight Unseen, so the cutscene behind the live fire door that has the paint explode off on it. We get to finally explore down there. So there's one cutscene with Spartan Din, and your Spartan actually properly armored up. So it's actually your armor configuration in the cutscene, which is cool to see. Getting back to that Halo 3, Halo Reach style cutscene.
Mm-hmm.
So that's really cool. And being able to get the door open, fall down the pit, and then after you complete the battle pass, there's another cutscene.
No, you don't fall down the pit. You
jump down the pit.
Come on now, let's get this right.
Falling with style.
No, that's a flat out jump.
Well, yeah. And then I won't spoil it because I haven't even gotten there yet, but people have been posting the videos on it. But there is a video at the end once you complete the 10-tier battle pass. I'll just leave it at that. I mean, I have seen it from being a Forerunner, but I haven't actually seen it properly in game.
I have seen it from one of the leaks, and trust me, it's worth watching.
It's really good. I really like what they've done with this. The story beats they've done with Season 3 are like spot on. There's new Forge features that released on Friday last week as well. I don't know if any of the big team maps that you played, GT, were any of the ones that were from this feature, but there were lots of good ones. Lots of kind of remakes or inspirations of other maps from other games. So there was one that's Lone Wolf based off the last map in the Halo Reach campaign. There's one that's Space Camp, which is a reimagining of Orbital from Halo 3. There's another one that's kind of very inspired by High Ground. That's So it feels a little different, but it's supposed to be kind of the high ground from Halo 3, the cage from Halo Reach, Chiron TL34. Again, I love that map. And a couple other ones that are more original pieces. So, yeah, lots of cool Forge stuff.
He just had to mention it again, how much he likes Chiron.
Oh, do you have the bingo card open? So, fun little thing for you, Brad, and anyone else that's from your community. We have a little bingo card.
Bingo card.
Yeah, for our podcast. So if something happens in the podcast, no one's actually gotten the bingo yet. There will be a prize for whenever there is a bingo, but we have a little bingo card during the podcast and during game nights.
Well, I hope we win, or somebody wins.
one of these days, maybe.
Eventually.
Of these days.
How many of these podcasts have you guys done? It's been a lot, right? 860.
This is episode 860, yeah.
Not a single bingo. Not a single bingo.
Well, the bingo's only been going on since a year-ish.
Okay.
I think. Yeah.
So 100 of these.
Right.
Roughly, yeah.
One of our listeners, Pins Halo, who's pretty much here every single time, made the bingo cards and was kind of like, funny. These things keep coming up. So he made it and we kind of adopted it.
That's awesome.
So they're fun.
What happens if you know what happens when you get a bingo? Have you like laid out what the prize could be?
I've thought about a couple of options, like maybe 3 months of Game Pass Ultimate, or I have a few Avatar codes still if people are interested in those, or maybe a Halo book.
What is that?
Yeah, I miss the old style avatars.
Me too. I worked really hard to get George's armor.
Yeah. Yep.
The old style Xbox stuff. It was a moment in time. I wish we can go back to it.
We'll be dreaming about those days for the rest of our lives, won't we?
Right.
Honestly, most of
that and the blades.
Most of the 360 dashboards I really enjoyed.
Yep. I miss the simplicity and the curviness of the blade system.
Well, I mean, even throughout 360's history, it was always pretty easy to navigate. I mean, if you wanted to invite somebody to a party, it was a couple of clicks and you had the invite gone.
Very true.
It's not, it's not the 27 moves that it is now.
Right. Pull up the little guide thing, go over to social, go down, go to find somebody, then go down, interact, and then send message or invite to party.
Yeah. I liked hit the Xbox button, go to friends list, find friend, invite to party. That was pretty simple.
Has that been solved with like the Master Chief Collection, or is that still?
Oh well, the original release of Master Chief Collection was like very buggy, so it's a lot. I mean, it's a lot better now.
Yeah,
it's a lot more reliable. Actually, showing you that you have friends online now, in game even. If they're if they're playing Master Chief Collection, they do pop up in game, so you don't actually have to go into the Xbox dashboard to find someone.
Yep. We've also got playlist updates for Halo Infinite. We have Super Escalation Slayer for BTB. That's the new featured playlist in Infinite this week. And it's very hectic. If you haven't had a chance to play it yet, it has the Iritus infected effects all over the maps, which is really cool. The end weapon instead of the oddball is the Chieftain Hammer. So it's not as much of a steamroll back opportunity. And then we've got Fiesta in MCC, which is kind of appropriate with Escalation Slayer. And then this has been making the rounds since yesterday, but the Reach beta came out 13 years ago as of yesterday.
Oh.
I remember playing that.
I do as well.
I don't think I ever played the beta.
I actually missed the Reach nades. They were good. And then they fixed them. Then they weren't good no more.
Yeah, they were like pineapples like Halo CE was.
Man.
I mean, I thought they were thought they were very balanced. You threw them, someone died.
Right?
That is,
Just because
very
sometimes it was yourself. I mean,
that's just part of it, though, right?
yeah.
Yeah, Halo
Yeah.
Reach was like really what got me into, Halo.
Yeah.
Definitely one of my favorites.
It was a lot of people. Like there was a fair amount that people were there from Halo CE. Then there's the Halo 2. I feel like every Halo, at least Bungie release, had an influx of new players to the game. I guess, technically every Halo has in some way or form.
I would say so.
So,
Yeah, some larger than others, but yeah.
And for different reasons, like different gameplay mechanics. So, yeah.
Yeah.
We'll leave it at that. Sure. There's new unlockables for nameplates in both MCC and Halo for different things. If you log into the games, you'll get those unlocked. And I think that's pretty much all the news stuff to cover for this week.
There's a lot going on. How long are usually these news segments? That seems like there's a lot that happened.
So we used to dive into the news a lot more. We've started kind of cutting back in favor of actually going back to more discussion format and the interview format. So we had Magic Moonshot on a couple weeks ago, who was our first of the year. I was kind of slacking a little bit on getting things going.
Your first podcast of the year?
No, first interview of the year.
Interview of the year. Gotcha.
Yeah. And then you're our second.
Oh, nice.
And then we are going to have, what's his name? One
that
of
other
the
guy.
405th that does the. You remember GT, the guy that we had on that does the ODST practical effect pictures, more shots.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
it.
more shots.
More shots. He's working with a group to build a realistic ODST armor, and we're going to have him on the podcast sometime in June.
Very cool.
Cool.
And then I'm also reaching out to Halo VFX to try to have them on the podcast. I think a few other folks want to come back on, like Real Life Spartan, and
that's Jonathan, right? Is that the same
is
guy?
that his name?
He's a really tall guy.
No,
right?
it's not the same guy. No,
Oh,
I know
okay.
who you're talking about. Yeah, it's not John the Spartan. I think that's his handle.
Ah,
But no, it's a different. Yeah.
gotcha. Sorry
He's-
for confusing.
Yep. No worries. So Pins, I'm not sure. It almost seems like he might be working with Installation 00, but I'm not entirely sure. I think it's a different project.
You gotta have
Are
that
you-
guy on too.
So we've had him on twice.
You have had him on.
We had him on 2 years ago when he first announced the project,
Yeah.
and then we had him on a few months ago to give an update after he kind of finished his Mark 1 of his helmet.
Yeah. That thing looks
So
so
we'll have-
cool.
Yeah, we'll have him on again. I haven't watched the latest stuff because he released a video I think 2 months ago of like the whole HoloLens integration with the helmet, and I haven't watched it yet.
Gotcha. Yeah, I've seen
So-
snippets here and there on like Tech Talk and like Instagram and stuff. It's just like, oh yeah, that project is awesome.
Well, and it's kind of interesting because I think both of y'all have like a material sciences engineering background.
Oh yeah. Oh,
So
Hmm.
yes,
maybe I need
yes.
to make friends with this Installation Zero guy. I've been seeing his stuff for too long not to be friends with him.
I think so. He has a mechanical engineering degree.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, me too.
I think. Yeah, I think like
Yeah.
both of y'all are like.
He's
of the
using
same-
his degree.
I
I'm
mean,
just
you're-
making, YouTube videos now. No,
I mean, I
that would be
think
really
he's-
cool to, see some of this stuff a little bit more depth.
Yeah, he's been doing like all the material sciences research for his project, and
Crazy.
yeah, no, I think you two would probably really have a good time talking with one another and like just building armors and everything.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, hook me up.
so compound someone uses their degree.
Yeah.
That is such an accurate statement. Like I have a computer science degree and I'm in IT, and I usually tell people I use maybe 10% of what I learned in college.
Oh, yeah. Dude, when I was in industry, I was using like 10%. Dude, I can relate.
Right?
Absolutely. Yeah, that's crazy.
So
I mean, you can find those jobs though, right? Like you can
Sure.
find those jobs where you're using 100%.
You can find those jobs, but do you want those jobs?
Not so much.
no, not really, not really.
There's people who do want those, and props to them. Props.
Oh, I mean, you find a job that you like, and it's not work, right?
Right.
So there you go.
Until it is.
Yep. That also happens too.
It can. Yeah.
It sure can.
All right. Well, I think that covers the news stuff. So we got that out of the way. So now we get to focus on Brad and everything with Impact Props. So we got to do the normal rundown of things, though. So
Sure.
as we do with all of our guests, we have 2 questions that we at least start with. The first one should be pretty easy. Actually, second one pretty easy. I'll start with the other one first. But how did you get involved with Halo? What got you interested? What got you hooked into kind of working in this universe?
Man. Yeah, so I mean, I think it was like 2009. Maybe a little earlier than that. You know, I've always kind of seen, you know, Master Chief armor, and, you know, I really just fell in love with the Halo geometry, like the aesthetic with the armor. And I think I was one of my neighbors who had a not strict parents like me. He had Halo and he was playing Halo in his house. And I went over there and he's like, I'm not allowed to play Halo because, you know, it's a rated M game. And but he convinced me and I played it. And so that turned into going to his house every day and telling my mom I was playing, you know, like Mario Kart or something, and just playing Halo and, you know, smashing grunts.
You wouldn't do that, would you?
Why?
I mean,
of course not. Of course not. Sorry, Mom.
To be fair, Halo CE had race, and there was race in other Halo games, so you were playing some kind of karting game.
Sure. I mean, I was driving something.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's how I got into Halo, and then Reach was what made me want to build things. The customization of Reach and just the way that the armor looked, and all the plethora of helmets that they came out, that all looked completely different than, well, mostly completely different than everything else that we've seen with Halo. So I got into that and started making foam Halo armor on the 405th, and I was in, I think, high school at that point. And yeah, dude, the rest is really history. I don't know how deep you want me to go. That's my short answer.
That's fine. We got plenty of other questions for you. So
okay. Yeah, so like, I mean, now I do YouTube videos, but the whole foundation of really everything that I do or everything that I'm doing now is costume making. Figuring out how to make something that looks so cool on the screen and how to bring that into life. Yeah,
that's got to be really cool experience, and being able to see an actual product come to life out of that. It's got to be.
Dude, yeah. One of the reasons why I chose like engineering as like a major, because this is all like, I started building things in middle school and started making Halo armor in, beginning of high school. So I've been doing this for a while. I mean, I'm 30 on Monday, which is crazy to me. And so,
happy birthday.
Thank you. But yeah, it's just been, I've been doing this for so long, and I think when we met, I think I was on like suit number 4, like actual quality-ish suit number 4.
Okay.
And I think we were. I think we were wearing like the Master Chief armor, the first iteration of our Master Chief armor, and like a yellow suit. Right? Was that probably? Does that ring any bells for you?
I think it was. That sounds about right, because there was that was like right on the heels of Halo 4's release.
Yes, and that was it, right? And then it the spark got reinvigorated again, and I remember wearing that Master Chief armor to the release of Halo 4, and it was just fun because there's like with 405th, right? Everybody, do people here know the 405th? What that is?
I think by and large.
So the 405th is a replica prop form for Halo costumes and Halo helmets and armor and all that. So that I really, becoming a part of the forums is how I learned how to make armor, how to make helmets, and there's like an innate competition kind of in there sometimes, not like an aggressive competition. Everybody was so welcoming to me and encouraging, and that's why I love the community so much. But yeah, you always want somebody has to be the first to make the new thing, right? And so I want to try to be the first to make the art. I never won, I never did, but I'd be watching the trailers and taking screenshots, and it was just a lot of fun. Yeah.
And you still made a pretty good impression with your armors. I mean, there's a reason why the Living with Chief series has a big following, and all the crazy shenanigans that you all come up with is it's like, okay, how do they come up with that idea, and like why has no one else thought of it yet?
That's the trick. Is it's probably mostly just like sitting in the shower for a really long time and just like
Yep. It's like Master Chief pays his taxes, Master Chief goes through a drive-through, and
yeah, exactly. But no, Halo
Master Chief breaks a warthog.
That was, that idea turned out to be something that we didn't actually mean to do. So those things happen also. Yeah, I mean, the warthog thing that, he's referencing is like a friend of ours made one of those real life warthogs, and we went up and we were able to drive that around, and that was an incredible time.
I think we talked about it on the podcast actually, because that was what, 5-ish years ago, 4 or 5 years ago,
when he actually made it initially. That sounds about right.
Yeah, we had talked about like the development of it, and then I think we saw you all had made a video about it, but it was someone, I think, GT, that you were following as far as the progress of the build of the Warthog.
It got me. By trade, I'm an auto mechanic. So the idea of building a Warthog has always intrigued me. So to see how people do it and the different ways they do it just really, it piques my interest. And I was very impressed with the work that he did with it, especially considering the tools he had to build it with.
I know. It was incredible. Bryant Haverkamp is his name. And he made a whole warthog that was really good, like in his shed. It was crazy. Yeah, it is crazy. And that guy is, he's probably one of the smartest people I've ever met. I think he's going back to school, or he's the brain to be a physicist. So so like
that's cool.
When you have somebody that's like that smart, there's really nothing standing in his way.
You put your mind to anything, and it just happens.
Right. And Peter Cooper, I think that's what his name was. You remember Peter?
Yes, I do.
So I think he was the one that made the very first one, the very first Warthog, functional Warthog, and then that was sold to Rooster Teeth, right?
Rooster Teeth. Yeah. Yep. And then they
blew it up.
Yeah, they blew it up.
Why? Crazy. And now I made a mini Warthog, a gas-powered mini Warthog. That
nice.
It goes 45 miles an hour. So I'm
on a lot faster than you really want to go in it, huh?
It's way faster. Yeah, way like probably 40 miles an hour faster than it should go. Yeah, but that was like, they came out last Christmas time with the mini Warthogs, right? With the Zoinks mini Warthogs. Did you guys see those?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I grabbed one of those, made a metal frame, took off the shelf, put it on mine.
Yep. Yeah, Halo Collector in the chat actually had them. He was it Mattel? Who made the Warthog?
Zoinks. The new one? The one?
Yeah, the kid size.
Oh yeah, Halo Collector. He's in the chat right now.
Yeah.
There it is.
He brought it to the Halo World Championship Series back in October.
Yeah. So the Halo Collector, Kevin, so he hooked me up. Like him and another YouTuber, The Domain, they kind of combined forces. You probably know The Domain too. If you haven't had him on the show, you should definitely have him on the show. He's awesome.
I did talk to him about having him on the show during Worlds. I need to follow up with him and actually
you need to get
that going.
Yeah, you'll have a lot of fun talking to him. But anyway, so they like this was like when there was none on the shelves, and of course, want to be the first, and
right.
So anyway, they hooked me up, and they hooked me up with Zoinks too, and that was a whole fiasco too. So Kevin, if you're in the chat, right?
Yeah, he is.
You're the best, Kevin.
He's got the hookups for sure.
He does have the hookups, man. And if he doesn't, he'll figure it out and find one. But he was going to like Walmarts for me in Washington. Yeah, it's like this guy's the best.
Whenever there's a exclusive new Halo item that comes out, like half of the time on the Halo Collector Facebook group, it's him basically showing, here's where all the stock is in the Washington area.
Yeah, he knows his stuff.
Yeah, for sure. So the second question that we ask all of our guests, which is kind of why you're on the podcast to begin with, is what do you do within the Halo community? So for anyone who hasn't even heard of Impact Props before, what the heck do you do?
I guess that's important.
What rock do you live under?
Yeah. So I make YouTube videos. I think our first really, I guess what we're really known for now is our Living with Chief series on YouTube. And that
I meant to wear the shirt, and I forgot to wear the shirt tonight, but I have the one with the trash can.
Yeah.
And the Chief coming out of it, yeah.
Yeah, dude. That is like an OG shirt right there.
It is. It's one of the first.
But yeah, so Living with Chief was a series that started with my friends and other members of Impact Props. We all lived together, and it was our senior year, and it was like Christmas time, and we were like, we need to figure out a way to capture this like last 6 months of our life living together, because we're never going to live with each other ever again. And like this friendship that we have here is so spectacular. How do we figure out a way to capture this, and also maybe figure out a way to get people to watch the videos? So our idea was, Master Chief becomes our roommate, and we have weekly videos that are like 2 to 4 minutes long, and we just every week
Crazy
all the way till graduation and just document that whole last time together. So we did it. Yeah, so we did it. I think I spent a couple months prepping and planning, and getting the first 2 episodes polishing, like what's the intro song, what's the extra song, what is the format, so we can just blah, 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 film them and pop them out, and then we started posting them, and they started getting views. And I think after 3 months of posting, we were at 100,000 subs, and we had the channel from before. Dustin, like when we met, we were only doing Facebook stuff. So Impact Props was on Facebook, and we were just doing little short internet videos and posting our progress pictures and whatever. And that's when we really migrated over to YouTube. And we already had, I think we had like 20,000, subscribers on YouTube, just from posting, just the miscellaneous stuff here and there. So we had a base, and the Living with Chief took that base and just exploded it. So
yeah. And congratulations on the 1 million.
Thank you.
On YouTube.
Thank you.
That's an incredible milestone.
Thank you. Yeah.
Especially for a Halo channel.
Yeah, no, for real. I mean, it's been 6 years now since we started this show. So it's been pretty, after that first wave of, us making the Living with Chief videos, it's been pretty steady all the way up to now. Yeah.
That's great.
And once we graduated, we were all like, what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? We're all graduating, and I'm like, well, I kind of want to keep doing this since people are still watching this, and so I got a job up here in Tulsa, and an engineering job, and I just kept going. Kept posting, and our group kind of changed a little bit. Right now, our current group is Ryan Lewis, Michelle Lewis, that's his wife, and Caleb. He's one of the new additions, and I can't ever say his last name. Fresco. I always screw it up. It's such a hard last name, I can't never say it. But yeah, we have a dream team of 4 people, and of course Chief. So 5 to be exact. And we're just having a lot of fun making crazy videos. Yeah.
Nice. And I think you were one of the first ones to do the lock armor too when Halo 5 was announced, right?
Right. That's one of those ones where started on the commercials, taking screenshots of like the teaser commercials where you don't even know, can't even like see the full armor. So I was like, trying to make it. And
Yeah.
so because I did that, I went through like 3 different iterations of the helmet over the I don't even know how long it was, like probably a year from when it was announced to when it was released.
Well, and I believe like 2017 RTX was like you all were like on the tail end of trying to cram that armor together to show off at RTX, if I remember right.
You're right. You're totally right. Yeah, I think I started on the actual armor when summer came, so mid-May, and RTX was when? Beginning of July, probably?
Yeah, it's usually like July 4th weekend is typically when it is.
So that was the amount of time. And that one was cool because I think we put like a CO2 system in there. So, Halo 5 was one of the first to have was the first to have like thrusters and like jetpacks and flying around. So we wanted to incorporate that into our armor, and we figured it was very uncomfortable because you had like a paintball canister like wedged up against like your spine whenever you're in that suit. But yeah, it sucked to wear. That armor was horrible to wear, but it looked good. It looked good.
It looked pretty good. And it was pretty convincing.
The lights, like the light up visor and like the light up all these things.
The strips.
We had to find like EL, like figure out how to do that so that it's not individual lights that are shining through. So we ended up with EL panels, and yeah, man, that was like a really hardcore build. I think probably the most hardcore build we've done. Yeah.
And then leading to the infamous video. The Band of the
Spartans. Yeah.
Yep.
And that was before the whole Living with Chief thing. That was
Was it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So the Band of Spartans was like, I think that was filmed the RTX before we started our senior year. So that was posted, and then we had like 6 months of doing other little internet videos, and then Living with Chief started. So I think that's how that probably is the reason why we had 20,000 subscribers. It was fun because that exploded on YouTube, and it exploded on Facebook too. So yeah, it's fun little 30-second dance videos.
I mean, that's the formula these days, is the short form stuff. So I mean, it worked well back then. It still works now.
Yeah, for sure. And that was like a trend type thing. Of course, we didn't come up with the dance. Marlon Webb, like the Band of the Bold, those were all his videos, and I saw that and I thought it was really funny. So we decided to do our own version of that.
And it worked really good.
Yeah,
it really did.
Helped us jumpstart, what we have today.
Yeah. So GT, I'll let you ask the questions because I know you've been really looking forward to this one for a while. So why don't you start off with the questions?
GT.
Well, my first question is, what did the trash can do to Chief?
What did the trash can do to Chief? And why don't you kick trash cans anymore, guys? Yeah. Oh my gosh. I don't think anything. Well, no, we actually had a backstory in one of the episodes is why Chief hated trash cans, and he was like, it was like this most bizarre, bogus reason why. But he had like a love story with like a recycling bin, and like a blue recycling bin, and then the trash can came and took his girl. It was just like such a bizarre. It was like we did like a quick like a Q&A video, and like that was the question, is like, why does Chief hate trash cans? And then we were like, So we were like, he's got to kick something. He's got to do something in every episode. What's he going to do?
It's a plot point. What does it matter?
Really? I mean, I was like, go kick the trash can. And he would go kick the trash can. And I was like, maybe we should kick trash cans in every single video, because a lot of the comments are like, why is he hate? So it ended up working. Yeah.
It's like now you're popular enough where you have to have your own lore within your videos.
Well, geez, yeah, for the Living with Chief ones, for sure, man. It's so funny. That is a great question. I haven't thought about that in a while. And we've really kind of toned back the trash can kicking in like the last couple of years of our videos. Maybe we have to bring it back, because that's really fun.
You need to bring it back like for like one episode where it's just like Chief gets PTSD or something and starts kicking trash cans.
Well, we like to think that he's matured, out of that phase, like he's kind of grown up a little bit, like just kind of like we've grown up.
Well, he's from the future now, right?
Oh, I guess so.
I have to admit,
plot hole, huh?
I have to admit that episode was absolutely hilarious. I loved every minute of it.
Oh, thank you, man. I really appreciate that.
I was really curious how you were going to update Chief's armor without
awesome.
and still make it entertaining. And that was just perfect.
Thank you.
I love the way you guys did that.
Thank you. Yeah. I mean, we hadn't really made, we did some cinematic stuff back a couple of years back, but kind of wanted to figure out a way to get back into that because I really appreciate you saying that because I really enjoy making those types of videos, making stories and being a little cinematic here and there. It's a lot of fun. Yeah, dude. We put a lot into that one, so thank you so much.
Yeah. It really shows in the video with the quality of it and the attention to detail in the story you told. And it fit very well. I really enjoyed it.
I think the interplay with because like especially even some of the Living with Chiefs now, like you all have good camera gear to make it look good. So while it is a lot more freeform, it does have a lot more of that well produced feel to it. So it really is a quality video.
Yeah, well, there's sometimes like I've always like been pretty fascinated in just making videos in general and trying to figure out how to make them look better and better. I've always been like a Casey Neistat fan. I don't know if you know who Casey is, but like OG YouTuber, and he just so anyway, to figure out how to make it still feel like the old ones but also have a higher production value has been a fun line to kind of travel. Yeah.
And the way that you do the Living with Cheese stuff in the other videos, it's like it's got enough of that humor where it's like it's a fun watch, but you've got the storytelling and kind of the like, okay, what's he doing now? He's learning to drift, or he's jumping out of the plane, or riding a motorcycle, or
dude.
Like it like you all keep it interesting, which is a real talent to just like keep going this long with this one concept and everything.
Yeah. And I guess the last couple of years too, we've kind of tried to shift a little bit, the type of content that we've been putting out. Instead of purely just like living with Chief and like staying on that as like a concept, what we've kind of started shifting towards is, our friend group is the same, still as the friend group, back in college. Most of the same people are there. But instead of making it like we're living with Master Chief, it's more of like, these are my friends, and this is our friend group, and Master Chief is one of the boys. And then we go and do whatever, but Chief's a character in that. So it's allowed us to do a lot more things instead of just focusing on like the whole living thing. And, there's videos where I've been able to, take Chief's armor and have experiences wearing Chief's armor. Like we climbed a 14,000 foot mountain. I climbed a 14,000 foot mountain, and I did a challenge where I spent 50 hours in the armor. And we've got a video that's coming up where I took Chief's armor on a commercial flight.
So was that you? Because I saw that video. There was a video recently of Master Chief boarding a plane.
Yeah. So that's we filmed that whole thing. Yep. That's yep.
So you saw that it was posted a couple days ago on Reddit. Okay.
Yep, that was us. That was on when was that? That was on Saturday. Yeah. No, Friday.
Oh, that's cool.
That was on Friday. And that was a trip that myself and Ryan took. And it was It was,
I thought of you
crazy.
all when I saw the video, but I was surprised that like no one had posted that, hey, we're doing this. So I didn't even think to ask you if it was actually you guys or not.
Yeah. We try to it's hard to keep it under like the videos that were produced, especially when we do public stuff, like under wraps. So that was really cool kind of proof of concept of somebody just taking a cell phone video of that
Yep.
and it being seen by a bunch of people. So I'm really excited to edit that video. Yeah.
I won't lie, I would have done the same thing.
Yeah.
I see Master Chief walk by, the phone's coming up, and woo, yeah.
Yeah.
So did you actually go through the entire airport in the armor, like through TSA and everything, or did you have to take it off because?
Well, I guess
I mean, if you don't want to spoil part of the video, then that's fine. That's
you'll have to wait and see. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, you'll have to wait and see on that one. That one's perfect. I'm really excited about that one.
I'm surprised that that's the only camera footage that has been released of that. Because if you go through the whole airport with that, then
yeah, man. Yeah,
maybe I'm reading too much into this right now, and I should stop.
You read into it as much as you want.
I'll wait for the video. That's
no, the video
that's all good.
It's a lot, so it'll be really fun, really entertaining. I think
he's like, yes, hype the video. It's not out yet, but hype the video for you.
Hype the video.
I can go back, reply to tweet. It's like, we actually know this is Impact Props.
Yeah.
Look forward to their video coming soon.
Yeah. No, we were tagged a couple times.
Were you?
Within
Okay.
that thread, but I think my response was. So.
Well, you heard it here first, folks.
Not.
Man.
Confirmed here first.
Yeah, no. But like a good example of the kind of content that we're doing now is there's a video we're posting on Saturday actually, where have you guys seen like the real Halo shotgun? Like the shotgun that looks like the Halo shotgun and shoots and everything. Have you seen that?
No, I had not seen that one yet.
Oh, you guys should Google or YouTube that whenever we're done here. But we found that guy and we had him come out here and we made a whole YouTube video around this functioning Halo shotgun that looks the part and it actually shoots. So
that's cool.
So yeah, really excited. That one's going up on Saturday. So I'm excited to see what happens with that one. And there's a video that we did a while ago where we shot like a real life Halo rocket launcher. So those
we did see that one.
Those are the
type
of
things
that we're kind of doing now.
Gotcha. How many suits have you gone through so far? And is it where you just like you're gonna break certain pieces, so do you just make extra of the certain pieces, or do you like make one and then when something breaks, you kind of iterate on whatever the next Halo is with the new kind of updated? Like how does that process work?
I probably should have a smarter answer to your question, but we just kind of run them in all to the ground. We're on Chief suit number 3. The first one was the one that I've seen a couple times at the conventions. It was like a 5-year-old suit when we started the videos, so it was already pretty beat to crap. And
the butt flap was kind of already dangling a little bit.
Right, exactly. And so we used that for 2 years of filming videos of YouTube videos, and then that armor got lost in the mail coming back from PAX in Seattle. We mailed it back and forth, and it got lost in the mail. And so I spent the next year making our next iteration, which is that helmet back there, and remaking the helmet and remaking all of the armor took a while. Because I was still working at that point for my engineering job. But that was number 2. And then number 3 is when Infinite came out, or at least like a couple months after Infinite came out. We were trying to hit the date. We were trying so hard to hit the date, but it just didn't happen. It just didn't happen. We're still having so much fun with our old suit too.
Yeah. I mean, you've got it working, might as well.
Right. So we're on suit number 3. And I don't think I've made a single replacement part. It's all foam, right? All the armor is foam, and the helmets are resin cast. So,
okay. And
we haven't had. Well, I guess we broke a visor because we shot it point blank with a paintball gun. Yeah, broke. What do you think? So we had to replace a visor. I think that's the only thing that we've had to replace so far. But you're probably right, and I probably what I'll do until a new Halo is announced and a new geometry of Master Chief or whatever, that's probably when I'll make the new suit. But I could see myself replacing some parts on this armor that we currently have. Yeah.
That's cool.
I'm actually surprised that the suit survived that well.
Yeah, this Infinite one's a year old now, and it still looks pretty good. And there's a lot of reasons why it does. I don't know how deep you want me to get into this, but like the type of paint that we started using, like we did a custom flexible paint that goes on top of the foam. And really where you see wear and tear in regular foam armor is when you use the rigid rattle can stuff. Because whenever you bend the foam, then now you have a bunch of wrinkles. And how do you get rid of that? You use flexible foam. There's a new flexible, it's FX Plaid. That's the new stuff that's out right now for those of you who make costumes that are listening right now. Use that, and we got a bunch of those, and then we mixed our own and airbrushed the helmet, and then literally hand painted the rest of it in a couple different layers. So that's how it's lasted this long, looking so good.
I mean, it's one of the better looking armors out there. Not not gonna lie.
Thank you.
I mean, it's like borderline official stuff as far as like we've seen the TV show. It's like, okay, as far as community made armors, this is definitely top tier.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm really, really proud of the helmet. I think that's like the most important part of any armor, because when we're having a conversation right now, we're looking at each other's faces. So the helmet is the most important thing to get right out of everything. So I'm really, really proud of that.
Well, and with all the shenanigans you all pull off with these videos, the fact that the armor is as durable as it is and gets through all the crazy stuff that you do is, I think, a testament to at least the design that you all have. And I don't know what you do as far as kind of like attaching on the underside of everything, because I know there's a science to, okay, how do you attach pieces? How do they link together? If you're doing electronics, how do you power the whole thing? So,
right. Luckily, the only electronics that we have is in the helmet. So it makes it really easy. Thankfully, 343 didn't make everything light up, and then that would have been really annoying for me. But
no, they didn't like put a whole bunch of lights all over the Halo 4 armor.
No, of course not. Well, they learned their lesson, didn't they? But yeah, I mean, we have an undersuit now. We have making these armors for as long as I have. I've learned how not to strap, I guess. Like each iteration there's a lot of thought that gets put into how can we move in this armor the best, and how can we, move in a way that's not going to break the armor. So we have like a whole system where I could actually probably link you guys to a video if you guys want to know more about that. There's this video called "There Can Only Be One," something like that. And I like literally take the armor off of Chief and kind of go over every single part. But it's pretty simple, but it works. Yeah.
well, and the best things are usually the simplest things.
Yeah. Overcomplicating things to make things look good makes it really uncomfortable, and this armor has to be comfortable because we're running around a lot of places. Yeah.
You got another one, GT? Another question queued up?
The grapple shot.
Yeah. Oh.
How hard was that to actually come up with?
Boom. There's the grapple shot. It would like the functionality of it.
Yeah, from concept to working model. What kind of time frame was this?
So that was probably like a 3-month process, I think. So that was the sponsored
That's not
bad. Gig by, I think it was Samsung and Halo. So they like challenged me to make it functional type thing. So the creation of the actual housing of the grapple shot was pretty easy. I have a modeler I work with, Vec 3D. He's incredible. He's my go-to guy. And as soon as I got the email, it was like before even anything was like signed or anything. I was like, "Hey man, can you model this?" So we had like the model within like a week, and it was even before the project was like finalized, which was probably a bad thing on my end. But I was excited, And then
either way, I'm going to build this.
Yeah, exactly, because it's cool, man. It looks really cool. And then, there's a lot of people that make projectile or CO2 powered projectile things on YouTube or on the internet. So it's been done before, but it hasn't been packaged into something this small. So really just like finding the right thing was really the challenge, not necessarily the design. Yeah.
That's cool.
Because it was basically, it turned into, my thing is I wanted it to be completely in the gauntlet, right? So small little CO2 canisters, basically hook that into a tire pump, a CO2 tire pump thing, which goes into the system, which goes into a solenoid valve, and that's all it is. Yeah, it's relatively easy. And we also had a way where you could have, there was a line that went from this straight back into the gauntlet, up through your shoulder, and into a backpack, so you could have like a big canister too, if you wanted to shoot like a lot of these.
Reload.
Yeah, but I mean, look how can you see like how intense that barb is? Like that is very scary, and on your arm, so you don't want to like doing that and shooting could be bad news.
You might want to make the
safety,
the backhand armor real.
Yeah,
little steel plate on the back of the wrist.
Yeah, no, we haven't put it on our Infinite Chief. I think this was a build that we had before we had our Infinite Chief done. Actually, that's why that's why it took so long to make the Infinite Chief. But I love it as like a display piece because it was painted using like actual professional paints. Alumiluster, it's the same paints that they used for the Mandalorian helmet, and I was making a Mandalorian helmet too, and so luckily I had access to this reflective paint. But probably one of the coolest things I feel like that I've made, at least as like a small replica prop. Really proud of it. Yeah,
that's really cool.
So you can see it. There you go.
It's in frame. Yep, you're good.
Yeah, there we go. Everybody can see it now.
What's the most challenging video that you all have had to do so far with the living with Chief stuff or any of the other videos? Like, what was kind of the one idea? Is like, I'm not sure if we can do this, but we're going to try it anyways, or like just technically challenging, or is it coming out and you can't talk about it yet?
Yeah,
okay.
Dude. Yeah, dude. This airplane video was intense, and like the whole lead up and the build up and the research was like, can we do this? Could we do this? How do we do this? Yeah, man, that one is like, I don't know how much I'm going to be putting in the video of like the lead up to it because it really starts pretty quickly, I think.
Okay.
But yeah, there's a lot of stress associated with the one that we just filmed. And I think it'll be titled like wearing Master Chief armor on a commercial flight or wearing Master Chief armor through TSA. One of the two. So
yeah, through TSA is probably the more interesting one, just because like, all right, how does that work?
How does that work? Well, in this video, you'll find out.
She's getting taken to a back room. It's like, where's? I'm not asking you to spoil anything, but
I mean,
I'm definitely a lot more curious now.
When like preparing for the video and like the questions that ran through my head were, for one, can you get in trouble wearing Halo armor like through TSA? Like, could you get in trouble? Could I get on a no-fly list? Could I get arrested? And it's just like, so the whole premise is I'm wearing Master Chief's armor through this or on an airplane. So we left the real Chief at home. But
yeah, just in case.
Yeah, so those are all like questions. Like they're all questions and a lot of stress-inducing questions. I booked the flight like a month in advance. Like we planned it all out, and there are all these other factors too that happen behind the scenes that kind of added stress to that video. I'm just excited for you guys to see it. I'm excited to see it too. I haven't even gone through the raw footage yet, and I've been too busy working on this other project. But yeah, it's gonna be. I'm excited. Yeah.
Looking forward to it.
I wish I had something to show you.
That's all right.
I wish I had something to show you.
I mean, that's kind of the cool, one of the cool things, and one of the unfortunate things is like, okay, we're on the cusp of this really cool thing that's about to come out. We can't talk about it yet.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
that's. I mean, just more reason for people to subscribe to the YouTube channel and follow the Facebook page. So
that's right.
Yeah, there you go.
I think the one that we have released that probably was the most intense thing that I've ever really put myself through is like spending 50 hours in Halo armor. We've gone, going to conventions, we've been in armor for like 10 hours, 12 hours. There was one time where the fire alarm in RTX went off at like 4 o'clock in the afternoon or something. So we had to be kicked out, and we left like our car keys in there. So like we were in the armor until they would allow us to get back into the convention center to get our keys to go back to our
I remember
car.
that.
I know, right? Wasn't that same? So that was like, I don't remember how long that was, but that was way longer than normal.
It was like an hour and a half, I think, before they let people back in.
I don't
because I remember it was like at 4 o'clock, like close to closing for the day.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think what the problem was is like we missed that window to go back in and get it. So it was like past hours of the actual convention center now, because we just went off and like we just all right, we can't be here anymore. Wow, we got to get back there eventually. And so that's probably the problem that happened there. But no, being in Halo is like it's a man-made challenge, right? It's like a challenge that nobody would really put themselves through. Why would you want to sleep 2 nights in full armor? I wouldn't,
Yeah.
But that's why like the allure of that video I think did so well is, what would that look like? How are you going to go to the bathroom? Like, what are you going to do? How does that feel? So that was probably one of the crazier things I've put myself through for no reason.
Other than just this cool YouTube video and people get some entertainment out of it.
Yeah, most of the other videos that we do they're not a lot of stress inducing. They're all, just like the idea, like what is the idea and how can we make a story out of it? Because that's really what we're trying to push now, is to create a story with everything that we make.
What's the creative process in coming up with those ideas? You all kind of just throw a group chat in there, is like, what do you think about this idea? Or, hey, our next idea for this could be around XYZ topic.
Yeah, so Kayla's been getting a little bit more into that, but mainly the brainstorming is between myself and Ryan Lewis. And we have a spreadsheet with all of our video ideas, and we'll get on phone calls and spend like 3-4 hours just like workshopping in an idea. And once we have something, there was like a flight, which is why we came up with he came up with the wearing armor on an airplane. We were on a flight and we had like 3 hours, and so we would just sat there and just came up with ideas.
Nice.
But whenever we have an idea, I'll script the intro and do bullet points and come up with thumbnail and title things before we even shoot, just so we have like ideas to encourage people to click on whatever video we're making. So yeah, whenever it was just me doing it while working, it was more of just like, all right, we're having this video now, we'll go and we'll see what happens. There's a lot more thought and planning that needs to go into these videos nowadays.
Yeah, a lot more involved, a lot nicer camera equipment.
Yeah,
it's like y'all are a mini production company at this point.
Well, it's fun, at the end of the day.
Yeah,
I get to make videos, with my best friend, and it's really a privilege that I could be doing it full time. Like, this is my thing now, so it's really fun.
Yeah, that's really cool. GT, what you got?
Well, so I have a question for you guys.
Oh, sure.
I have a question for you guys.
Oh,
go ahead.
I don't want to derail you. I have a question for you guys eventually.
We'll go right ahead.
So how did you guys meet? How did this whole podcasting come pass?
So for us in particular, I forget who my other co-host was at the time. I think it was G. Lewis.
Brent.
Was it Brent? Also,
Brent.
it was that far ago.
Yeah.
So Brent and I were, Brent Gamer and I were the co-hosts at the time. This was probably what, 2010,
well, it's Halo 4.
2011? Yeah, 2010, 2011 time frame. So probably, around there. And GT had started listening to the show and coming to game nights. And at one point I said, hey, you're here pretty often. Would you mind running the game nights for us? And he obliged. And then Brent stepped away from the podcast. I think we had G. Lewis come on for a little bit. And then after he left, I asked GT, he's like, hey, we got a gap in here and you're pretty regular. You want to come be a co-host? And he picked up that mantle and he's been co-host since 2015.
Heck yeah, man. That's awesome.
Ish, yeah.
Somewhere around there?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I bought the good old Blue Yeti.
That's what I'm using right now.
That to do the podcast with. Well, actually, I bought it because he had asked me and one of our other listeners, Pens Halo, to be on the show because he was short a host that night, and he wanted to bring some community people on. So at the time, I literally was using an old set of Turtle Beach headsets. I mean, it sounded like I had my head in a bowl.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, talk about awful audio quality. Anyway, so shortly after that, I picked up that Blue Yeti. And as far as the game night, I'm sitting at work and I get this random message pop up on my phone. I look down. Dust Storm. Oh, Dust Storm. Hey, could you host game night tonight? Sure. I don't have any custom saved. He's like, okay, well, I'll put some up on my file share and you can play those. Because at that time we were doing custom nights. And, we would just go out and find new customs and we'd play those it was Tuesday nights. No, it was Thursday nights.
It was Thursday nights back then. Yeah.
Yeah. It was Thursday nights because they were doing the podcasts on Wednesdays.
Yeah.
It's kind of moved around a couple of places since then. So that's how I got involved with Podtacular.
That's awesome.
And it was actually, I found Podtacular looking for information for Halo 4.
Okay.
And, I just came
Did you
across
find
their podcast. Yeah. I came across their podcast on
iTunes or
no, I had a Windows phone.
Zune. So Zune podcasts. You're one of the few Zune podcast subscribers.
Yeah, I think I actually found it through Zune.
Wow.
And despite what anybody thinks, that was a good program. A lot better than what's out there now.
Yeah. Isn't it crazy how life brings us all together?
Yeah.
One little text, hey, can you host this game night?
Yeah, I'd only been showing up for it was like 2 or 3 months.
It was a couple months.
Yeah. So it wasn't it wasn't like I was there for 3 weeks straight and he asked me, but still. Yeah, I actually hosted my first game night on my own Twitch channel. I had just barely started streaming.
Yeah.
I was actually using OBS, not OBS Studio. OBS Studio didn't exist yet. And I had been
OBS too.
We started off with live stream.
Yeah.
That service.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Anyway,
well, I was gonna use that other one that cost money, but I never could bring myself to spend money on it. Not for a hobby.
Right.
But anyway, that's pretty much how I got involved in it.
That's awesome.
Dus has a much longer story.
Yeah, my story goes back to 2008 when the original founder of the show, Fumo Jive, and the co-host at the time, JVB, were ready to move on with life and everything. And that was in the summer of 2008. So they had got through pretty much a few months or maybe 9 months into Halo 3, and they had kind of a goodbye thing. And there was about a 4-month stint of random little projects around the podcast. And I had been one of the folks that were making content for Podtacular. So I did a whole Halo 3 campaign tutorial type thing for the podcast before they left, and was participating in some of the game night type things. And eventually I braved up enough to go to Fumo Jive and was like, hey, can I pick this up and continue the podcast? And thankfully he said yes. And I've had numerous different co-hosts on the show since then. Had Ash, had G. Lewis, Greg, Brent Gamer, Haas, GT now. And we just managed to kind of kick things off through getting recurring guests back on the show, back during that kind of kickstart or kicking things back off again. And have been doing the podcast ever since.
I think don't forget Biowolf.
Oh yeah, Biowolf was there for a good 3 years or so. And
Biowolf and Bionet. Oh, good
and now it's
times.
BobbyNet. But we started, or I started with episode 162 back in October 2008. So I've been doing these for almost 700 episodes now, which is crazy to think about.
That's a lot. That is a lot, man.
It's a lot of time.
It's actually kind of like the first time I was on, we were in the 400s, I think.
Yeah, you've been here for a while too.
I don't know, it's like in the 410s, 420s ish area.
Yeah.
A while back, I went back and actually dug through and found the first episode I was on and cringed. Anyway,
I have not gone back to listen to my first ones. I've listened to the first one that I was a guest on, which was like 126 or something like that. But my very first ones, I know I've improved a lot since then. But going back,
totally right there with you. Like looking back on older videos, even a couple of years ago, I'm like, yeah. It's crazy.
I can't believe I let this out in the public.
Yeah, I decided, I said, oh, that's good. Post. Yeah.
But at least it kind of gives a testament to how you've improved, which is always good to see.
Well, everything I've always heard about YouTube is post the best thing you can. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just post something. Because if you don't post anything, you're not going to get any views.
Yeah, no, you just got to post. You just got to post. And that's a thing I struggle with too sometimes, is trying to be as perfect as possible. But there's, it's a YouTube video, right? It's never going to be perfect. And even people that, edit these movies, they'll always find something new. Like, man, having a deadline is important. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
That's until Living with Chiefs becomes a movie, a feature film.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Can you imagine that?
So they hear first. 10 years time, Living with Chiefs, the feature film.
The pros don't always get it right either. So
yeah.
There are several instances in movies I can think of that you're like, really, guys? You chose that to edit?
Yeah.
Anyway.
They miss things, and you'll see in the Star Wars movies, you'll see a janitor in the background, or they'll leave a coffee cup in Game of Thrones, Yeah.
It's hard to keep track of all those little details sometimes, though.
For sure.
It is.
Especially when you're looking at it. Sometimes I'll just be editing this thing and I'll be hearing myself say the same thing hundreds of times. And I'm like, it's sometimes hard to tell if it's good anymore. It's like, is this like something that anybody would want to watch now? I don't know. I've been listening and watching this for 2 weeks now. That's usually how long it takes for me to edit a video down to something that's done in those 2 weeks. But
that's not too bad.
No, it's not. No. But most of that's just me being just getting over that perfection hump of there's being productive, and then there's perfectionism, or being trying to be perfect, and sometimes it bashes. And I choose things to be a perfectionist on that nobody will ever notice, and nobody will ever see. So that's the thing that I've been trying to overcome with this whole process. Yeah.
Well, thank you for asking. I don't think we've ever gotten someone that asks us. Well, maybe a few times, but pretty rare. So.
Well, good. Yeah.
Play the reverse Uno card.
Getting questions, I gotta dish it out to you, knuckleheads, too.
Yeah, that's a fair point. Fair point.
Fair enough. So back to my question.
Sorry to guess.
After spending 50 hours in the armor, has it inspired any changes to be made to your next set of armor?
That's a good question.
So my 50-hour challenge within this
Second iteration.
armor.
Yeah.
I already had finished this one, but it was brand spanking new, and I didn't want to like destroy it already. So
well, I guess what I'm saying is
Roll
not
over.
necessarily your infinite armor, the next set of armor you build.
Yeah, I'll have to spend 50 hours in the infinite armor. I'll have to ask, I could ask Chief and he can give me some pointers.
Is that the next challenge?
No.
50 hours
50 hours in this suit because I need to know. But that's a funny premise. It's like Chief can't talk, so he can't tell me what I need to improve on my next armor, so I have to spend 50 hours in it so that I can figure it out. That's a pretty
maybe some strategically placed doors.
Yes, yeah. Well, honestly, it's all like 343. Like they went back to the COD piece, and so with the Halo 4 stuff, it was all like one torso that went all the way down to cover the entire torso, which made it hard to move and stuff. And so, spending 50 hours in that armor kind of sucked. I wonder what it would be like to spend 50 hours in this infinite armor, because I feel like, I mean, I've been in it, and so I know that it's much more comfortable. It's much hotter because there's more layers of underarm or undersuit, so a lot more sweaty, but much more comfortable.
So do it in the winter.
Yeah, in the wintertime. Yeah. No, that's a good question. Yeah, I'll have to see. But I'm pretty happy with like the design that we have now and like the strapping system of what we have. Like I'm really happy with how that's worked. I don't think I could pinpoint something that I would change right now.
As far as that process with like iterating on things, what's kind of your go-to? I think you mentioned that do you start with like the helmet, or do you start with certain pieces based off? It's like take the infinite armor that you did. What was kind of your process from start to finish?
Yeah, you kind of start in the center. I made the helmet first just because it takes the longest, but it's hard when you're just starting out and you don't know how to, because you need to size your helmet to like the silhouette of what your armor is going to make you now, right? So it's all got to be proportional, but in terms of silhouette, right? But luckily, I kind of figured that out with this armor. Oh god, that old one, and so I basically just made the helmet the same size as that. So scaling wasn't really a problem with this new one, just because I've done it before. But yeah, I guess you start with the torso, and then you kind of work your way out and try to scale everything as you go. I have a unique. Well, it's not really that unique, but it's different from a lot of people. The way that I make the armor, I scratch build everything except for the helmet. So everything that's foam, it's completely like looking at pictures and cutting geometry, looking at pictures, gluing it together. Fix. That like that kind of method. I know there's a lot of templates out there that would guide me a little bit better, especially right now after the armor's been out and the models are out there and with time. But my preferred method is just looking at pictures and just seeing where it takes me. Yeah, sure, I'll go through a couple different shoulder pieces that I have just start over on. But yeah, I really enjoy doing it that way.
Interesting.
Yeah, I don't know where I was going with that, but
I mean, we've had a couple other 405ers on, and some of them have talked about like, okay, starting with like the gauntlet or the wrists and like the arm pieces. Some start with the helmet, like since that's kind of the centerpiece, like you mentioned. Everything's kind of flows from that down. It kind of sets the frame. Okay. So
yeah, if I didn't have any other armor or any other helmets that I knew worked, I would start with the torso and make the shoulders. So it'd be torso, shoulders, and then I would 3D print my helmets in scale and then set them up, or at least not finish the torso, but have at least the base of everything, so that I know what the silhouette's going to look like between the torso, shoulders, and the helmet, and that'll help me gauge. That usually helps me gauge if my helmet's the right size. So that's what I would do, and then everything else you just kind of the scaling of like legs and forearms and all that stuff, it just kind of comes naturally, but the torso, you can, yeah. Yep.
And for, I guess you have one suit, so for all the different people that wear it, are you all just similar body build enough where the one suit just works, or do you have different pieces depending on who's wearing it?
Yeah, so me and our chief, we're both the same size. So he's much more strong than I am. But I make the armor for me, and then luckily he's the same. So
Luckily,
So it
he's close
works.
enough.
yeah, maybe I'll have to make the biceps a little bit, bigger, and you know, but yeah, yep. That's where I'll leave that.
Nice. What else have you built other than Master Chief armors? Have you done anything else? I mean, obviously you did some of the Destiny stuff, and you did the yellow armor and the
Yeah.
lock. But have you done anything else?
So my partner, whenever we started the whole Impact Prop thing, Eric Newgard, he jumped into Bungie, so he made all the hand cannons and all that stuff. He actually works for Bungie now, so that's
Nice.
kind of so he's no longer a part of what we do with Impact Props, but he's killing it on his own, and he's like making props still, not as his full time, but for Bungie, which is really that was his end game, is to work for Bungie. So it like worked out. It was crazy. Um, God, I forgot the question. What other armors have we made?
Yep.
I've made a bunch of different helmets over the years. Like I tried like a Mandalorian helmet. I've made like a Bo-Katan helmet. As far as full armors, I've done a couple Iron Mans back in college, but really just lately it's just been Chief. Chief and some of the other characters from Halo. Yeah. Bo-Katan's fun. Yeah. I want to do more. I want to branch out, but those projects are always so, they're big projects.
Mm-hmm.
I do have one that I have coming up. Hopefully, if everything goes according to plan, that's not Master Chief. That will be a new character for the channel. So that'll be fun.
Very nice. That sounds exciting.
It is. It is. It is. I haven't made anything in like a year, like really. So I'm excited to kind of dive back into
Get
that
those creative
process.
juices going again, and
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, that's been such like building things is like has been ingrained into me. So like when you go too long without like making something like this, you just
you
kind of
get that
want to,
twitch.
yeah. But then you go over that hump of that project, and you're like, I don't want to build anything for forever. It's like
It's a roller coaster, basically.
right.
Yeah. And then, did you meet your spouse before Impact Props, during kind of the rise, or like how did that?
Oh yeah,
Was she on board with it at first, or?
question. So I met Jess in high school. So we were high school sweethearts, and then she was a couple years younger than me. So I went off to college and kind of did my own thing there for a couple years, and then she graduated, and we got back together. And I guess Impact Prop started my freshman year, so yeah, we were kind of a thing before that. Making things has always been a part of me. And yeah, dude, she's like the most supportive person I know. Like and especially like sure, like when it's a hobby, it's fine. She's really into animal rescue, hence the Animal Rescue League of Greater Portland. She's a vet tech, so her passion is saving homeless animals, right? So she runs. She's the cat lady at the rescue at our local rescue. So she has a really big heart, and she's very passionate person. And I'm the same way, but just for different things. So that's that's something that brings us together, is just having something to put everything into, right? But
That's cool.
I think one of the most supportive things that she's done has blessed the go ahead and quit your engineering job, Brad, and let's try this whole YouTube thing full time. Just see what happens. It's a big leap. It was a very scary thing for me to do, but to have that like 100% support from her It was great. I would have never done it if she was like, no, I don't think you should do that.
Yeah.
Because that probably wouldn't have been a good thing at all. But thankfully, it was a good time in our life where, it was just us, and to take a risk like that, it's always scary, but it was the time where failing wouldn't hurt so bad. You know what I mean? So
That's
definitely
great.
And she's my sounding board too on ideas, and she told me that the airplane idea was a stupid idea, and it was, definitely was. But I'll be showing her all these video edits, and she's my harshest critic when it comes down to being funny on camera. Like if a joke doesn't land, she'll be like, take that. And
it's
that's
nice to have
important too.
It's nice to have them there for that. Yep.
Yeah, not everybody's gonna laugh at your jokes, and having somebody
that one doesn't work as well as you think it did.
Exactly. So
sounded better in your head.
Right, exactly. So very supportive. I tried to be very supportive of her endeavors, and we make a really good team.
That's awesome to hear.
Dustin, I think you've probably met her.
I have. Yep. A few times at RTX.
Wow, yeah. Yeah. She would come to the RTX and help us run the booths whenever we had those booths. And
yep, I think she was at the booth when I bought the t-shirt.
Oh yeah, then. Yeah, for sure then. Yeah. She's not into the whole costuming community. Yeah. She's not a gamer, she's not a nerd like, me, but but she's very supportive.
That's cool. And Halo Collector said you should make a Doom guy.
Maybe.
Kind of get all the memes of like, oh, it's the Doom guy. No, that's that's Mr. Chief. I mean, that'd be actually pretty interesting. You have a Doom guy and Master Chief in one video.
Maybe.
I'm guessing that's already on the spreadsheet.
That's a hint. Yep, that's a hint. Maybe the project that he was talking about earlier.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Great minds think alike. Yes. Let's just say that.
Right here first, unconfirmed. Well, we've taken up about an hour of your time, which is what we like to kind of keep things short to. GT, do you have any final questions? You can always bring Brad back on if we've got more questions later.
I'm sure I can come up with some more, but I think we'll let him go for tonight.
Yeah, guys, thank you for very flattering to be invited on y'all's podcast. Thank you for having me.
I mean, I'm flattered that you said yes after getting 1 million followers on YouTube. We're small fries compared to you now.
I don't do podcasts. Like I don't really do them with people I don't know, because you never know, and
right.
I know you, Dustin. We go way back, and so it's just a privilege to be here. Yeah.
Well, whenever there's another big project idea, we'd be more than happy to have you back on. Maybe visit you again in a year. Bring some of your other folks on.
Oh yeah,
we could have a little roundtable thing.
I think having Ryan on would be a really, really good idea. You know Ryan too, Dustin.
I believe I've met Ryan. I don't know if I've met Kevin. I met Matt.
You met Matt, and then my little brother Mikey and Dan. We had a huge group. Every time we would go down there, we brought everybody because we needed the help.
I probably got pictures of y'all back in my RTX album somewhere.
Yeah, dude. Freaking RTX, man. When we were running those booths, man, it was a crazy time.
That was...
Got fond memories of that.
Like, there was something... I mean, the RTXs back then, there was something special about that, especially for Halo fans, because that was in a good time where the Rooster Teeth Red versus Blue stuff was kind of in that good, like, getting to that little animation, but it was still funny, still engaging with the story, and there was that big integration with 343 and all the different little Halo events, like being able to play things early and the little, because 2016 was that World Champion stop. That was one of the places that you could play and get into that tournament type thing.
Yeah,
but
no, it was the legendary time. GT, I'm glad you got to go to one, but man, those first ones were something.
Yeah, I was kind of crushed that I was not able to go to one where 343 was there.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, they had other commitments in a different country that particular weekend, so I was unable to meet any of them, which was really, it was a bummer for that part. But I tell you
Yeah.
what, meeting a lot of the people I'd played Halo with in person,
Oh yeah.
seeing a lot of the fans of, just Rooster Teeth and Halo in general, it was a lot of fun, and I would love to do it again. So here's hoping. I
Yeah.
would still like to make it out to a PAX event. I don't know when that's going to be, but I would like to. I would like to still make it out to a PAX event. Hopefully, in a year that there's a big announcement for the Halo universe.
Yeah, I remember watching. I think they released at one of the Rooster Teeth or RTXs. They revealed they like premiered a trailer of something. I can't remember what it was, but like being there for something like that with everybody that loves Halo as much as you do. Yeah, man. Yeah. Well, I guess the more recent ones have been like the championships, right? Like like those might. I bet you those are going to start turning into mini Halo conventions.
So I don't think I'm not allowed to say this, but that is kind of the idea with the Halo World Championship, like the grand finals and everything, is kind of turning it into a mini Halo convention where it's like, sure, there's the competitive side happening, but they want to make it to where Halo fans just in general can come and kind of turn it into almost like a Halo mini outpost.
Yeah,
that would be.
I think I'm going to go next year. I think I want to try to go.
I'm skipping. I think my tenure with PAX is kind of done at this point, unless there's going to be some major thing that 343 does with announcing Halo at a PAX or doing something there. I think my time with that's kind of done.
Yeah.
So Worlds is going to be my one event that I go to every year. I think from this point on, and maybe do a San Diego Comic-Con every now and then, just because there's a lot of the 405th folks that I know out there.
Oh yeah.
Like Ben Choi.
Yes. Yeah.
Kind of the lead of Anvil Props out there.
Yeah, no, he's great, man. We went out to San Diego one year and we met all those guys, and they're great people. It's been since like 2012, 2013. Been 2015 since I've like seen them, but yeah, they're good. But maybe we'll have to bring the camera and bring old Master Chief to the next World event. Could be a fun time.
I think I think you'd get a lot of cool. I mean, they had their 405th, not 405th, but they had the cosplay type contests and everything. Don't know if you watched that. They did stream it.
I watched the Domains video on it. It was pretty cool.
Yeah. But yeah, there's lots of. Oh, I forgot I did profile pics for 2016. I don't think I ever posted those to the 405th forums, but yeah, I was kind of I kind of ended up being the unofficial photographer for a few events because I was just there with the 405th stuff, and it's like, I've got a good camera, I can take pictures.
I have video of one of the photo shoots that you were doing, and you were just like taking pictures. I was trying to film like some of them, and all of a sudden your butt would like get in my camera, and I'd be like, "Oh, Dustin's butt in my camera frame again." But
it's like that.
Thank you guys.
It's like during weddings when it's like the photographer and the videographer are like, "Okay, which one gets the position over here?"
Exactly. I think that actually made it into one of the videos that we made.
Oh, did I? I have to go back and look.
So. I think we did like an RTX vlog and like some. I don't. It was like before everything, but yeah.
That would make sense. Man, I'm gonna have to go back through these RTX albums and try to find you all. I'm sure I can.
I would love to see some pictures. It'd be kind of fun.
Yeah.
If you have some, I would love to see them.
I will drop these on OneDrive and I'll just let you pull whatever you want.
Thanks.
Yeah.
The memories.
Right?
Yeah. Well, thank you guys so much for having me. This was really fun.
Yeah. Before you leave, give everyone your socials. Where can people find you and learn what's coming next with Impact Props? Yeah,
so it's Impact Props. Mostly just on YouTube nowadays. I got Twitter I'm kind of doing and Instagram. But it's mostly YouTube. We got some really fun videos coming up. I think we talked about them, but I don't have anything else to tease.
That's all good. That's all good. We will at least make a mention of it when it does happen on the podcast and be like, all right, this thing that I talked about 2 weeks ago, go look. It's out there. Go
I would
find
love
it.
to know what you guys think. Honest opinions only.
Sure. Yeah. Be more than happy to pass those along.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Brad, so much for being on. Hopefully we'll get the rest of the gang on next time we have you all on.
Let's do it.
And looking forward to, now that we know that it was you on that airplane video, really looking forward to that video coming out.
Yeah. Me too, man. GT, it was good to meet you finally.
It is good to meet you as well. It's been a real pleasure. So hopefully one of these days we can do this in person.
Yeah, come to the championship. Come to World. Is that what they call it?
Worlds.
Terrible.
Yep.
Yeah.
Worlds. Okay. It's all good. You've been out of the loop for a while, so you got to ease your way back in.
I'll get there eventually.
So half of the events for the season 2 of the championship series is all in Texas. You could drive.
That's like a 4-hour drive for me.
Yep. Ain't too bad.
Might have to just go to one and see what happens.
The DreamHack one is in a month. That's the beginning of June. I'm possibly, haven't confirmed this yet, possibly going to the one that's in Dallas. That's June 30th. And then there's another one in September. That's in before the October finals. So, yeah. Well, thank you everyone for listening on the Twitch live stream and via download. For those that are on Twitch, hope to see you all tomorrow for our Fraggin' Friday. We'll be on Infinite. Come hang out with us. We'll have a good time with some BTB playing in that Super Escalation Slayer on BTB. Might get a few of those in. We'll see how they go. Brad, again, thank you so much for spending time with us tonight. Can't wait to see your video and whenever you're back on the podcast again.
That was good, guys. Yeah, have me back on. I'll come back. I'll be back.
Perfect. He'll be back. You said it here. All right. Thank you all. Have a very good night, and we'll catch you all on the next one. Thank you for listening to Podtacular, the unofficial Halo Universe podcast. You can find our podcast on your favorite podcasting service and listen to us live every Thursday night at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time on Twitch. Check out our website, podtacular.com, and join the community on Discord at podtacular.com/discord. If you want to play Halo with us, come join us for Fraggin' Fridays at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. You can find us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Become a supporter of the show by sharing the show with your friends and family. Or help keep the lights on by subscribing to us on Twitch, donating via PayPal, or becoming a patron alongside Confal, Pens Halo, and Prestige Ace. Until next time, keep on fragging trucks.